right. Hey, John, thanks for joining me today for another conversion-focused website review. Today, we're going to take a look at bushbalm.com, which just has a nice little rhyme pattern to it when you say it out loud now that I'm hearing it, so that's kind of clever. This came up on my radar because I saw, I believe, the founder, David, on Twitter saying started the whole thing with less than $300 of initial investment out of his own pocket. All the original products that they ordered fit on a single shelf inside of his apartment. And now it sounds like they're doing $10 million a year in revenue. So it's quite the success story in the e-commerce space. And I thought, why not take a look and see what a bootstrapped $10 million brand is doing in terms of, selling online. So I've got the website fired up here. What are your first impressions based on what we can see on the screen now?
Well, there's a lot of offers happening right now. I'm not a huge fan of a percentage or dollar based off discount right up front. I would rather see a promotion than, if you will, than an offer like this. I think that pop-up is just really weak, quite honestly. It doesn't tell people what they're going to get. It doesn't tell them what the benefit is for them other than 20% off. So what I immediately see and think here is their products aren't worth what they're charging. They're worth 20% less. And that's just the point of view I already have, and I know very little about the brand.
Yeah. I would also say the product imagery is kind of in the back there. I'm guessing that bottle is the product, but it's fairly muted. It's got this dark overlay on top of it. I can't really even tell what I'm getting 20% off of at this point. So to your point, a little bit more messaging if you're going to have this, or maybe save this for a scroll depth trigger, an exit intent trigger. Give somebody a little bit more time to figure out what it is you're offering, and then they can determine, hey, do I want to claim this? Give my email address and go ahead and make that purchase using the discount code. Right. So I'll close that out. I also see, the next thing I see is this free shipping bar, because it's such a stark difference between the rest of the color palette on the page, which I'm sure is intentional. Free shipping, I think we typically say, is one of the best performing offers for this kind of notification bar layout, because people just don't like to pay to get a product to their doorstep. They're used to walking into Target and walking out with a product and not having to pay for that experience, right? Other than the cost of the product itself. So I think this is smart in terms of the offer being made and the placement and maybe even the color selection. One thing that I do notice is that I can close this and just dismiss it. And I don't know if we have tested anything like that, but between like making that permanent, right, and making it sticky, which it is if I scroll down, but I can just kind of dismiss it and make it go away. So any thoughts on that particular element of the homepage before we get into everything else?
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be sticky. So as you scroll down, it's persistent. I think you should just say it's tagged there, and then as you scroll, it disappears, because it's really not something that's beneficial for the consumer throughout the entire site. They get the idea, free shipping over $50, and then you should hit that point home on a product detail page in the checkout, where shipping might become more of a deterrent, or this could be a benefit. So the other thing is, I'd want to play around with that $50 number to see what is their average order value, and can we get that AOV up. And the best way to do that is to play with this free shipping number. So if their average order value is $55, okay, then free shipping over $60, and let's give that a shot. And there's some math that happens there with what are the best sellers and what's the price point of those, and how do you get people to do add-ons, things of that sort. So those are all things to consider.
Yeah. I'm also curious if that applies internationally or US only, or if there are any stipulations to that, because I know that shipping a physical good like this across the ocean could be more expensive, and I wonder if that holds true, if this is localized at all. But maybe to get it out of the way here, we'll take a look at the hero section and the navigation, kind of the entire above the fold area to start.
Yeah, so the logo doesn't really tell me the name of the brand, so I would want either to have logo type next to it of some sort. And then in terms of the navigation, we typically want to see no more than 5 items. The first one you can easily eliminate is home. Products doesn't tell me what problem you're solving or how what those products are. So and it doesn't even look like it has a drop down, right? It's just a button. That's right. I would make that the main product categories and go from there. Typically don't need reviews in the main navigation. How it works is fine, although that is content that could be placed on the purchase journey, like the decision making process. So like a product detail page, etc. Contact and wholesale should just be down in the footer. That's where, if people want to buy wholesale or the retail store wants to sell the product, that's where they're going to go immediately. So I think this navigation could be cleaned up dramatically, quite honestly, and perform a lot better.
Yeah, I agree with that. A couple of things I noticed, that it doesn't really seem to be much of an obvious active state when I hover over these links. So that's just kind of an accessibility issue there. It's just letting folks know which one I'm on. To your point, I'd like to see a drop down on products, or if you have a small enough product catalog, maybe these 5 items here are just the different types of things. Like I took a little sneak peek at the page. I know they've got some bundles, right? So maybe you could have, we're talking about skincare here. So you have a lotion, a balm, an ointment, and bundles. And that those are your 5 elements, right? That's something to consider. And then I don't know if I would bury the store locator here in wholesale, because as a consumer, if I'm looking for it close to me, I wouldn't intuitively go to wholesale to find those locations. I would want to see something like retailers, store locators, get it near you, something like that, something around availability from the consumer perspective.
Right, and that would be a good thing to include in the navigation, but not buried, as you mentioned.
Right. So then looking at this hero section, I see the headline, skincare everywhere, short, punchy, powerful, kind of like Nike's Just Do It, but I don't know that it tells me what the product does or what differentiates it from all the other skincare brands out there. I certainly do see a lot of skin in the product photography, but I don't see the product, right? I'm guessing the product is not the sports bra. So that might be an element of how I have my window resized. But you would want to choose a picture where on 99% of devices, the product is front and center. And I'm guessing it's probably in her hand right there.
Yeah, definitely agree with all of the above. This area on a homepage is where you want to focus on what is your unique value proposition. What is the pain or need you're solving for consumers? That is what should be here.
Yeah. So I think we typically like to see kind of a headline and then a tagline, right? Or a title and a subtitle. And so whatever makes Bushbalm different, if it's, organically sourced or ethically produced or, has no artificial chemicals, whatever makes you different would go right under this. And then maybe a little bit more description here in terms of skincare everywhere. Does that mean like everywhere on my body, like full body skincare? Or does that mean like travel skincare items that you can take with you conveniently? Like, a bunch of different ways you can interpret that. So maybe a little bit clearer on that one. And then I know we generally dislike to see a generic shop now CTA button. If you're going to have something there, maybe contextualize it to the product that's featured in the image here, right? So if that's some kind of lotion or balm, go ahead and say shop our skincare or skin lotion, something like that. Really, we're trying to get somebody to the next step in the process, which I think would be a category kind of level here. But I think Shop Now, if it's just dropping you into a collection with all products, like I can see here in the bottom left in the link destination, I think that's a missed opportunity there to feature a flagship product or something that's already in the hero section being mentioned.
Fair enough. Yep.
Cool. Moving right down. And I would say if we run the 5-second test that we typically like to call it here, like I have no idea, I can't see the full logo. So, I'm not even sure I'm on the right page from the ad I just clicked on. And I can't really tell what this brand offers aside from skincare, but that could be, you could be a spa that offers massages, right? Like it could be lotions, it could be any number of things. And it could be the face, it could be for like overall body skincare, it could be any number of use cases as well. So I think it kind of fails that 5-second test, and there's some opportunity there, because I think what spurred my thought there is this is getting into really what you do and what you offer. Here's the product catalog. I can at least see some of the variance between the different products that you offer. So it feels like some of this stuff needs to be pulled up above the fold to encourage somebody to explore deeper.
Yep, I agree 100% with that. And I think that this paragraph of text here is, I call these walls of text. People are going to hit this and not read it. They're just going to, hit it and pause for a second and be like, yeah, that's an investment of time. I'm not going to make it this stage. I'm just going to keep scrolling. So really what you need to do is bring these out as bullet points and just make it very scannable and that somebody can read really, really quickly. The whole goal of a homepage is not to explain the whole life story of the brand and every single detail of the products. It's to get people intrigued to go to the next step in the funnel. That is the goal of your homepage. And so if you can tell people how you solve their pain or need very quickly, succinctly, and then what the benefits are, that will get them to the next step in the funnel.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is really the value prop here, right? Bikini line, bumps, redness. That gives me a little bit more of an indicator that, you know, this product's primarily designed for people who identify as female or like to wear bikinis or, you know, swimsuits or whatever. You got a bikini line going on there. And it's designed to help you kind of reduce irritation, redness, and bumps when kind of grooming in that area, right? And I think this alludes to that anywhere or that skincare everywhere type of concept, right? You see the word everywhere here, but it talks specifically about like everything from your arms to your legs to your bikini line, everything. So again, I just think there's a sub headline in here, right? And then maybe this is, 100% natural skincare products that reduce redness and bumps in your bikini line. That's maybe the headline, and then this is a little bit of descriptive about like all the other applications. But the same kind of like error here in terms of the shop now, like you're seeing that twice within 5 seconds of scrolling here, and at least they're consistent with the button, right? So we always talk about presenting CTAs in a consistent manner. It's okay to have kind of this white version on the colored background and this outline version on the lighter background, but again, there's probably a better CTA here, like than just generic shop now, look at all of our products in one place. So it looks like we're going to get into right below that. I'm guessing this is some kind of flagship product offering. Looks like a 3-step skincare routine. So this is kind of like your morning or your night routine. You use all 3 of these things at the same time. What do you think about this kind of effectively a product detail page on the homepage immediately under the hero and some of that initial copy?
Well, the problem is it's not really providing any details, right? So I don't know what, I mean, you just asked, you just made a bunch of guesses about what this is without really being able to confirm much of that, right? And so really here, again, the whole goal of your homepage is not to close the deal on the homepage, not to get somebody to buy it right now or add it to cart. We see this mistake all the time. Likely the only people doing this are people who have already bought the product before. And that's an audience that will take one more step. So you're alienating all of those new to file customers that are most valuable. And now, I'm not suggesting retention and lifetime value is not valuable. It entirely is. But you really want to be thinking about how can you close that first sale so that you can even get the customer to spend more over their lifetime. And so I really think that what you need to do here is feature the product, sure, but get people to go to the next step in the funnel and get to the product detail page for this, where they can learn more. You can have details instead of just a small view details link, which I wonder very few people are going to click because it's sandwiched between 2 large call to actions that look like call to actions, right? Consumers been trained up above to look for these pill-shaped buttons, if you will. And then it's beyond that, below that, it's also crammed between these colorful social icon buttons that are going to attract a lot of attention but not provide a lot of value. Consumers likely aren't clicking these. If somebody wants to share something on social, their habit is to just copy the URL and paste it and then control the entire message. So these buttons don't often get clicked. I'd want to see some click tracking on those, but I think there's just too many actions in a small space, and you're really trying to go for the kill here, get the conversion right off the bat, when the reality is you need to be focusing more on the details and just getting people to that next step.
Yeah. And I would say all these product photos look pretty much exactly the same. I know they're swapping out the fragrance or whatever here, but there's probably a more succinct way to present all these different options, right? Because the brush is staying the same. These other 2 products are swapping out on occasion, but there's just not a whole lot of logic to this. And I think it's more of a distraction in line with kind of these 2 elements over here. And then these aren't intuitive to me either. Like the 10-inch, I'm guessing that's the length of the brush, but like there's no other option. So do you need that drop down, or should that just be hidden, a hidden field, right? There's nothing to select there. And then these would be for the other 2 products. But again, I don't know necessarily which one of these is the scrub, and like I don't know what separates nude from Sweet Escape from Bermuda. There's no information to make a buying decision here. So I don't think this is doing the job that you want it to do, right? Nobody has enough information to make that consumer purchase.
100% agree. You said earlier, or just a second ago, Oh, it's swapping out the scent. Well, how do we know that that's the scent? I don't know what.
All right. Picking up where we left off. So yeah, we talked about how I assume that this was the scent being swapped out, but that we don't really know that that's the scent. It could be any number of things. It could just be a different formulation with a different skin type or something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. You have no idea. Really just get them to the next step in the funnel. That's really the goal here.
Right. Cool. So moving right along, this looks like another benefit statement. So we're talking about 100% natural ingredients. You can kind of see the product subtly placed in the background there, but I think this is calling out, this is probably, in my opinion at least, the maximum allowable text without a line break, right? Like this is probably as big as you want your paragraphs to get when you're describing products or benefit statements at the highest level. But still, it could probably benefit from, some kind of bullet point list here about how this product's different from everything else in terms of the natural ingredients. Like what ingredients are you using or what ingredients are you avoiding that some of the big brands on the shelves at Target and Walmart or wherever are using that are maybe not in the consumer's best interest, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also think this is the first time we've heard of this feature, right? This that it's 100% natural ingredients. We need to move this up on the page, especially before you're trying to sell a specific product.
Yeah. And I'm already seeing some of those primary navigation categories pop up, right? Like I'm seeing, okay, you have scrubs. Cool. We have oils. We saw the brush. So you probably have some kind of accessories, right? Or something like that. Those are three categories that you can break things out into in that primary navigation and kind of clean that area up, as we mentioned before. If I hop down, it looks like we're going to have another kind of PDP layout here, specifically around this single product. To me, this just kind of feels like we want to make our homepage a little bit longer, right? And we want to give these products prominence. But, the point we've been kind of coming back to is like, you just want to get somebody one step farther in the funnel and you're kind of like giving them a brochure experience here. And I think that's maybe okay, but maybe this isn't the best way to do it, right? Like I'd rather see a lockup here with 4 images that share the categories like oils, scrubs, accessories, whatever, and let the user click down into that next category, maybe with one line about, oils are about, I see nourishing on the package here. So oils are about nourishing your skin after a long day. Balms are about rejuvenating dull skin, whatever, like just one line. And then I can say, oh yeah, my skin feels kind of dry. So maybe I'll go into the balms or whatever. Like I'll use a scrub, that kind of thing. Like that seems like a better use of the space than trying to promote individual products, especially now that we know there are multiple variants for each one. So whether it's the scent or the ingredient composition, whatever, you're still kind of selling yourself short here.
Yeah, agree. I think everything I set up above for the other product panels applies here as well. And I would almost suggest just removing all of these product panels. And if you want to do a 3-up of the 3 products and say, these are our best sellers, that's the way I would look at it.
Yeah, I'm also noticing I haven't seen anything less than 5-star reviews here. And we're talking about, 85, 100, 513 reviews. We talk about it a lot, but man, as a consumer, that just raises a lot of red flags to me because, even if you got straight A's in school, you probably can't meet 500 people on the street and get a 5-star review from all of them, right? Something went wrong. The box was damaged. It didn't come with a battery, whatever. Something went wrong and somebody gave you less than 5 stars. As a consumer, I start to question the authenticity of these reviews when there are that many and it's that perfect.
4.5 stars will always test better than 5.
So, maybe not recommending that you fabricate it, but if you're only showing the number of 5-star reviews here, maybe it's better to show the collective score, right? Because that could be what this is presenting here is like, let's just show how many 5-star reviews we've received out of 500 total reviews. And that's a different approach to it. So maybe an opportunity there to test something out. Moving down along, it looks like we've got customer testimonials here. And, I know we always recommend against carousels and just getting these all into a single visible kind of lockup so you can see them all at once, maybe reducing the number to 3 or 4 and then saying view all of our testimonials and having a page with kind of a wall of love that has as many as you want, right? But like here are 4 really impactful ones with names and faces and maybe shrink some of these down to a single line of the most powerful advice. But putting this many in the carousel, I bet nobody makes it past 2 or 3. They just keep scrolling or they've already been convinced.
Yeah, we should do some click tracking on that. I bet that the people are not clicking the arrows. In-page navigations like this do not perform well.
Yeah. And the other thing that I see folks miss a lot here is I love this product. Well, what was the product that Caroline had? Was it a scrub? Was it an oil? Was it a balm? Like, can you use some of this space as an opportunity to link that product and say, Carolyn loved the whatever balm and view the product detail page here. That can be a contextual, like, oh man, this was really impactful. She has the exact problem that I have. She says it went great. Let me explore that product deeper, but I don't have that opportunity here as a consumer.
Yeah, and also noting that they're a verified buyer is, adds a lot of credibility to there. I was actually talking to a potential new client the other day and was clicking through their carousel, and a picture was of Ryan Reynolds, the actor. And I was like, then they had some other name and called him a CEO. And I was like, okay, so a lot of people know who Ryan Reynolds is. He's been in some movies, like, he's famous enough that, like, however this got through, I now trust nothing on your site, because it's clearly that this was a stock photo somebody used, and maybe the designer had it in their mock-ups and nobody caught it. But the reality here is now the credibility is zero because you used this guy's photo.
Right.
So really, making sure that they're verified reviews and that you don't have any slip ups like that will really increase trust over time.
Yep, totally agree. So then as we get down, maybe 3/4 of the way down the page here, it looks like we're looking at some bundles. So the one thing I notice here is, like, do we need to bury this text on a hover state? Like, can it just be visible from the beginning? That feels unnecessary to make me dig for that. And also, by putting save on each of these, I feel like that diminishes kind of the effect of the savings in general, right? Like, I think if you say it up here, you don't necessarily have to say it all over here, because you also have this strikeout pricing. And I think maybe we would usually recommend that goes in the opposite order, right? Show the higher price with a strike through, and then show the lower price next to it with a dollar or a percentage amount savings. So what are you seeing in this section here about bundles and savings?
Yeah, I would get rid of save out of the headline, and I would leave the save tout, or what I would do for that badge, if you will, is just say $5 off, something like that, right? Or the percentage off. Because it is, and I think it's like 10% off, right, that you're saving. The other thing to think about here too is they're missing a clear call to action. So besides hiding the text and everything there, I think we also need to make sure we're not hiding a clear path to purchase from there. So having a clear call to action is going to be necessary.
Yeah, a button maybe that's in the same style as some of the pill-shaped buttons we've seen before. The other thing that's occurring to me here is, like, okay, so these are 10% off. If I got that 20% off discount code that we saw through the pop-up, like, does this become a not profitable sale at that point? And some brands are open to that because they know if somebody likes a product, they'll come back and buy again, and the lifetime value kind of negates that all out. So it's okay to lose a little bit to get them in the door. But yeah, just thinking about that, like, it feels like you could save about 30% on your first purchase here, and that's fairly generous in terms of discounting the price, the original price of the product. So that jumped out at me as well, as like combining those. Or conversely, if I wanted to use the discount code on these and it didn't work because they're already on sale, that might be a negative customer experience too, because I gave you my email, you said the code would work, you didn't have any stipulations attached to it. So that's a negative outcome there. Okay, so then heading down into this section, it looks like we're finally getting into kind of the different oils and scrubs. So this would be kind of those product categories that I was talking about before, talking about what they do, right? Exfoliate and moisturize. Looks like these are going to go to category pages or collections. So we'll see a category for oils and we'll see a category for scrubs. Just kind of feels to me like this should have been higher on the page, right? Like the very basic choose your own adventure kind of segmentation opportunity that comes right under the hero is like, which of these feels most appropriate for you, right?
Right. And at the same time, it's still missing a clear call to action. I understand you can click on it, but the reality is you're hiding what it is, the headline for each on rollover. In addition to that, you really just need to tell people what you want them to do. You want them to learn more or view details, right? Go to that category.
Yeah. And I think, we're almost done with the homepage here, and I still don't fully understand the use case for these. Like, is it immediately after shave? Like, clearly you can see some bathtub elements here on this right-hand side, but it does feel like there was a missed opportunity to say, here are 5 ways you can use our products in your daily life, right before bed, just after you wake up, right after you work out and shower, and like to cleanse your skin, whatever. That's what I see in a lot of other places for skincare products, and I haven't seen it here yet. And that's a big part of like getting somebody to have the trust and buy-in to move forward in the purchasing process. And I haven't seen that yet. Maybe we'll see it at the very end.
Well, they've been so product focused that they haven't focused on the benefits or the use cases at all.
Right.
Really. I mean, it's been all like, buy this product. And I'm like, well, what's the benefit for me? Why do I want to buy that product? I still don't know.
Yeah, in copywriting, we would say you got to twist the knife, right? Like you got to make it hurt first. And then when somebody says, I struggle with that every day. Like I'm sick of that. Do you have a solution for that? And then you drop the product in there and you've already kind of like built the confidence in making that purchase. So it's easier and you probably convert at a higher rate. So I think we're just missing some of that twisting the knife element here. But I will say we're getting down into kind of the assurances, right? The trust building type of stuff, the risk-free guarantees, that kind of thing. I think that, by now we've kind of figured out what the product's used for. It's that bikini line and the balms and everything. So this makes sense to me now, but it's not maybe as clear as it could be, right? Like it's not as clear as like why you would want this to be discreet or anything like that. And then to me as the layman, like discreet and privacy, they kind of feel like the same, general topical area. So it's like,
right.
Okay, what's the value there? How is that different? I think this would be more like discreet packaging, fast, reliable shipping, secure payment, or like outstanding customer support. That's the kind of stuff we see here, like return policies, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would test taking this whole section out. Most people who buy in online are not concerned about security until they're giving you their information, number one. Number two, you're asking people to understand what Shopify is, which is growing in popularity. It's a big brand, but like, that's something e-commerce world knows. As a consumer, they may not know. And then, why should I be that concerned about discrete packaging and my privacy? What has happened in the past that you need to promote that in that manner? I would run some tests and do some user tests to understand, hey, is there a stigma with using these products? I don't see necessarily why there would be. I mean, we've worked with we've worked with a few products where that might be the case, but this is, borderline if this is one of them.
Yeah. And this is probably better suited for a product detail page, right? Or even during checkout, like immediately before you enter your credit card information, those last minute, like, hey, if you're on the fence about this, let me take away these objections. Like, we'll get it to you fast and reliably. We'll have outstanding customer support. We'll package it discreetly, and your payment's always safe. And so is your personal information. Like, that's the stuff that gets somebody over the finish line. We're not going to watch this now, but I believe that I saw on Twitter through David's post that they've had good success with influencer marketing. So I'm guessing this is a video that was produced by an influencer or user-generated content. And, she's holding up the product there. You can see, like, this just feels way too far down the page for what it is, right? Like, this could be super compelling. Maybe she's talking about how she uses the product and the results that she's seen. I mean, at the very least, it's more impactful than these, probably, right? So it should be at least in front of these, I would think. This just kind of feels like bringing that kind of social proof in pretty late in the game.
I agree with that. And there's no headline here, nothing. I don't know what to expect other than a lady holding the product.
Yeah. And it's pretty massive too. So like you can maybe shrink the video size and then on click have it open up in a modal or something like that is more full screen, but it is taken up. It's kind of large and in charge here, the way that we see it now.
Yeah, when we see full screen things, panels, I should just call it like a panel, right? Content panel like this, folks stop scrolling. That's typically the reaction to these, is they think, okay, well, I'm at the end of the page.
Right. Cool. So then it looks like we are just about down to the footer. So we'll take a look at this real quick. I'm guessing this is, moving to their wholesale angle, and maybe they've had good success working through retailers or spas or something like that. So, again, I don't know that this should be on the homepage. I think most of those folks are probably looking for that link down in the footer somewhere, like to be a stockist or something like that, or they caught it in the homepage navigate or the header navigation because that's where it is now. But yeah, I think like depending on how much business you do through e-commerce versus this wholesale angle, it might make more sense here to have your store locator and to have kind of an embedded Google map here. And it's like, find Bushbalm products near you. and then it's just like put your address in here and it'll dynamically update, the spas and stuff in your area. That might be a better use for a consumer focused angle to this versus the wholesale.
Yeah. Again, a wholesaler is going to go down and look in the footer for that wholesale or retail link and click on it. So you're wasting valuable screen real estate here in essence.
Cool. All right, so we'll bring this thing in for a landing. This is the footer section. It's quite large. I know we always say these don't need to be on the homepage because like by now people just assume that you accept some kind of payment that they have. And if anything, this should be on the product detail page or closer to that checkout. This is way too early to introduce those. Verified reviews. I don't know. I feel like that could have been pulled up over here or again on a PDP right before checkout, just kind of reassuring them that you've got a lot of reviews. So I think maybe we'll focus most of our attention here, unless you have some comments about that deep footer that we just covered.
Yeah, I think first thing on the left is should be all the product categories, right? Shopping navigation. And so that should be the first column. From there, more links is not really helpful to consumers. It could be, calling it something else that would help, customer service, something of that sort. Need help? Great. Our products, I would get rid of the title, our products, put the brand logo and name there, and then make sure your contact information is underneath that. We need that, as you've coined it, trust trifecta with email, phone, and ideally a physical address of some sort. Those will increase trust more than that badge of number of reviews at the bottom, which we've run a lot of testing on with different reviews providers. And I can tell you in the footer does not drive the needle. What I would really recommend there is putting that where it's going to count, which is on a product detail page.
Yeah. One thing I'll call out here is like, I didn't really get any of this through the homepage messaging. Like we got natural ingredients, I think, or I'm not sure if they said organic. So we got a little bit of that, but we didn't get any of this cruelty-free angle, which is important to a lot of folks, or more importantly, made for all skin types. Like, I don't know, I didn't see a whole lot of description about the diversity of how these products can be applied across a wide range of consumers and body types. So maybe there's an opportunity to bring this farther up and bring it more to the forefront. And then the last thing I'll call out here is the email sign-up form. If this is all that we're leading with, it's probably not really getting much uptake. So there's no real benefit statement here. There's no incentive. There's no descriptor about what somebody's going to receive by joining your email list and why they should care. And then there's no, sub-headline about respecting their privacy, giving them the opportunity to unsubscribe anytime they want, that kind of thing, that reassurance. So I would be shocked if they're getting many subscribers from this form as it is. So I recommend either adding a little bit more of that information, adding an incentive, leading with value and telling somebody why they should sign up, or just nixing it all together and trying to collect emails through product sales or your blog or some other kind of channel.
Yeah, all good points.
Awesome. Well, we'll get back up here to the top. Hopefully David and the rest of the team at Bushbalm find that helpful. I mean, clearly they're doing a great deal of business without any of these ideas, but hopefully there's something in here as they think about, optimizing and driving more conversions from the traffic they're already receiving. Just goes to show that if they're doing 10 million now, they could be doing 15 or 20 million next year, maybe, by making some of these user experience optimizations. So as always, John, thanks so much for sharing your expertise with us today. And we'll look forward to doing another one of these real soon.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.